All right, guys, another edition of the 3 a.m. Tales. I'm here getting ready to close out my computer. I'm finishing up client work, and it's 3:25 in the a.m. I've got everyone to bed, and I'm trying to wrap up as much as I can before Monday gets here, and my work week just starts going crazy. I had a message from Bailey on Instagram. And I asked him to please, I'm reading this off my screen here, so I'm looking down. I asked him to send this over to me on my email because it's really hard for me to type with my giant fingers on my phone on Instagram and give a decent reply. And the more I thought about it, this is a question I could probably answer better talking on a video than I can typing it out. So I want to go ahead and think about this. But he mentioned that his gym opened today, which would have been a couple days ago. He worked up to his 1 rep max in the squat and bench to see where he's at. So he said, basically, I worked up to my max squat, and the issue is that although my legs and the hips felt strong enough to do more, I knew the problem was with my upper back and keeping it strong and stable during the lift. What things can fix that? I read this first, and I really was about to jump on you a little bit for maxing on the first day back to the gym. There's been so many articles and everything, don't max out when you have a great way to get hurt. But the more that I read what you actually wrote, not what I thought you wrote, but the more that I read what you actually wrote, you worked up to the point that you understood what was wrong, and then you stopped. At least that's the way I'm reading it, because I want to think positive here. And I want to commend you really big on that. That should be everyone's goal. Coming back from any kind of lockdown or change or sickness or, taking a few weeks off or anything. If you walk in the gym and you're going to work up, you walk in the gym, I'm going to work up too. You should work up to the point in which you learn that something is breaking down and what that is, and then stop and then go fix that. Because if you know that your upper back is breaking down, you're 1 rep away from a serious injury. Bending over on the squat, hurting your back, hurting your hips, a knee, a shoulder, an elbow, just a big missed lift can set you back for a long time. And then you have to ask yourself, when you're injured, was that rep really worth it? You could have stopped earlier once you knew what was wrong and spent your time fixing that instead of now rehabbing the injury and whatever was screwed up to begin with. So upper back, first of all, make sure it's not a technique issue. If, for a lot of people that, if you're a bigger person like me, you're going to have some mobility issues. And what I do, I should show you guys this on videos on my YouTube channel. When I set up on the squat, one of the big mistakes that I have is that I will set up often similar to what I do on the yoke or a weightlifting squat bar, which is incorrect for a powerlifting squat. So I've got my hands and my shoulders and elbows aren't super flexible. And the idea of getting tight on the squat is that you should get your hands in a position to where your body can be in the perfect position and be as wedged tight as possible. So I tend to do that totally backwards. Like a lot of people will read, get as close as possible and you'll be fine. And then what I tend to do is somewhere in the middle where I will try to get my hands in close and get tight. And when I get tight, I end up doing this with my trap like that. So the bar gets up there. I get my hands in where I want to, but what I should be doing is that right there, locking that trap and upper back down. So make sure that you're not shrugging. Make sure you don't have that trap up at all. Because if your trap is shrugged up, it doesn't have to be I've got freakishly long collarbones. So anytime that I shrug, my trap goes, and I've got giant traps because I've got freakishly long collarbones and a freakishly long wingspan. Anytime that you shrug up like that, your middle upper back is not, it's impossible for it to be tight, and you're not going to be able to get tight. So for you to get tight, you have to slam the shoulder blades down. And sometimes that means widening your grip out to a point at which you can slam your elbows down and use your lats like a pull down while keeping your traps down, which is really hard. You watch a lot of people do a lat pull down And the first thing that happens is they start to pull down, the trap comes up. Shoulder rolls forward, trap comes up. You got to keep it back and down. If it's doing that, if your technique and your setup is perfect, we hope that it's not, because if you can fix that, then automatically it's just walking in the gym the next session and you've been rusty because you haven't squatted heavy in a while and you took the wrong position and it stood out. If it is a strength issue, then that's all it is. It's strength. And how do we fix strength? Work. You seem to be like the kind of person that's willing to put in some serious work. So all it is work, which means it's not hard. It's effort and work. Everything from, like if I wanted you to go in and do chest supported rows, it's a big one. I wish I had a chest supported row machine. It's so friendly on the lower back. You can go heavy, takes the breath out of you. But if we did chest supported rows, lat pull downs with every handle you can think of, till you find one that you're like, wow, this one feels good. It's hammering the spot that's bothering me. Band pull aparts like crazy. I have a lot of my clients within the first 4 to 6 weeks to working up with me, I'll have them get to the point to where they can do 300 band pull aparts 3 times a week with a mini band to get that upper back, not just strength, but it's still got to have some kind of endurance. It's got to be able to take the pounding of the entire rest of the week's training and then still be strong when it comes to your last set of squats when it counts. Think about that again. Your upper back, your weakness, has to be strong enough so we can get through all of your entire week's worth of training and still be ready to go in your squat session and still be crazy strong on your last set of squats. So that's where those band pull aparts really come into play. So video yourself from the back, maybe with and without a shirt, setting up on a bar, even on an off day. And then just start doing band pull aparts in every kind of row that you can think of. Not necessarily a bent over barbell row. I don't think that's the wisest choice. But pretty much every kind of row you can think of, and try to hit that area. Look for a movement that just feels weak, and then look for your movement where you just feel amazing when you do it. And probably your weakest lift and your lift that feels the greatest, combining those two with something for volume, it's probably going to be your answer. Anyway, Bailey, I hope this helps get you started. If we get you started here and this doesn't solve it, then send me some videos and I'll figure out a better solution. Hope this helps, man. Have a great week.